Today, July 12th, 2023, marks the 1-year anniversary since the release of the first image from the James Webb Space Telescope, or Webb, that is NASA's largest and most powerful space telescope. Let's take a look back at the last year of mind-blowing images, as well as a brand new image released not even 12 hours ago. We also sit down for an exclusive interview with Dr. Amber Straughn, NASA's Associate Director for Astrophysics, as well as the Deputy Project Scientist for the James Webb Space Telescope. My name is Marvin Marshall, and this is the Space Report News. So, what even is the James Webb Space Telescope? Well, the James Webb Space Telescope, also referred to as JWST or Webb, is a super powerful telescope that has been designed to observe the universe from space. It's named after James E. Webb, who is also an important figure in the early days of space exploration. Webb is a massive telescope, much bigger than any telescope we have ever sent to space before. Launched on Christmas Day, 2021, Webb's primary, iconic golden mirror towers over 2 stories high once it was unfolded. Its protective sun shield measured about the size of a tennis court. During a very tense time, it took until July 2022 for Webb to be fully unfolded and the first image to be sent back down to Earth. Now, down here on Earth, Webb tips the scale at more than 13,000 pounds, just about equal to the weight of an adult elephant. The entire telescope is 8 meters or 26.2 feet tall. Now, how does it get those incredible images? And is that what we would see if we actually went out into space? Well, not exactly. The telescope works by actually capturing light from distant stars, galaxies, and other celestial objects. Now, Webb is optimized to, observe infrared light. Now, that is more red and in longer wavelengths than the human eye can actually detect. Webb studies galaxies at all stages of development and ages of cosmic history. It captures light from the first galaxies in their early stages of development, measures star formation rates within galaxies near and far, and it also creates detailed maps of gas, dust, and even dark matter in our local universe. Webb's purpose is designed to help us understand the diversity of the galaxy composition and structure of space and time, how galaxies form, interact, and change, and how also supermassive black holes and their host galaxies influence each other. To do all of this, Webb has to be very far away from Earth, almost 1 million miles. It orbits the sun, but in a very special place called the second Lagrange point, or L2. Now, that keeps it in line with the Earth and the sun. This location provides a stable environment for the telescope to operate and keep it cool, as it needs to be extremely cold to observe in infrared. Webb's Mission Operations Center is at the Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore, Maryland. Engineers send commands to Webb and continuously monitor the health of the telescope. Traveling at the speed of light, it takes about 5 seconds for the commands and data to travel between Webb and Earth. All communications are routed through NASA's Deep Space Network, with ground stations located in Canberra, Australia, Madrid, Spain, and Goldstone, California. Webb can downlink at 57.2 gigabytes of recorded science data each day, with a maximum data rate of 28 megabits per second. So now that you have a better understanding of what the James Webb Space Telescope is, let's learn about how the James Webb Space Telescope is already working with existing telescopes like the Hubble Space Telescope, and what we can expect from James Webb in the future. Directly from Dr. Amber Straughn, NASA's Associate Director for Astrophysics, as well as the Deputy Project Scientist for the James Webb Space Telescope. Good morning, Doctor. Our first question today is, how does Webb work with other telescopes to give us a more complete view of the universe?
Well, our eyes only see a tiny part of light. So the universe is filled with light that's redder and bluer than what our eyes can see. And cosmic objects emit all kinds of light. And so we build different types of telescopes to be able to see these different types of light. And JWST is an infrared telescope. It sees the universe in light that's a little bit more red than what our own eyes can see. And this allows us to do some really incredible things. In particular, in order to see the very first galaxies that were formed after the Big Bang, we need to look in infrared light because those galaxies, we can only see them in the infrared part of the spectrum. And this is actually exactly what JWST was designed to be able to do. Another really great property of infrared light is that it allows us to peer through dust and literally see sights of new stars being born. And that's exactly what we're seeing in this new image today.
Awesome, thank you so much for sharing. Our last question really quick here is, what are you most looking forward to learning about next with Webb?
Well, my own personal area of research is how galaxies change over time, and in particular, how they form their stars and their black holes. And when we look into the universe, we see that very distant galaxies are completely different than the ones we see nearby. And with JWST, for the very first time, we've been able to look back into extremely distant space to see some of the very first galaxies that formed after the Big Bang, a part of space we've never seen before. And so for me, I am really interested in seeing more, learning more about how those very first galaxies formed, how they're forming their stars, and to learn how they form their black holes. And so we're sort of missing this piece of the puzzle, and we're starting to get a glimpse at how these early galaxies formed. But I believe in the future we're going to learn even more about that very first epoch of galaxy formation.
I'm so excited to see what Webb discovers next. Thank you so much, NASA's Dr. Amber Straughn, for those awesome answers. To finish off this video, I'm going to leave you floating through the galaxies with some honorable mentions from over the past year. If you haven't already seen my previous astronaut interviews or other videos just like this one, please go back to check it out. Your thumbs up and comment on these videos really does help the Space Report News grow. That's going to wrap things up for this episode. Follow us over on Twitter at the Space Report News, streaming live on Twitch at You Got Any Grapes, and for a fully autonomous rocket launch and event schedule, go over to the www.spacereportnews.com. Be sure you're subbed and have that noti bell on so you don't miss any live streams or future videos. My name is Marvin Marshall with the Space Report News, signing off until next time.